Hello, my wonderful friends. You've just tuned in to English Chapter. Today, I've got a story for you that's going to tug at your heartstrings, lift your spirit, and share some truly meaningful life lessons. Make sure to watch all the way through. This story is ideal for anyone looking to improve their English in an enjoyable way. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. Many years ago, there was an elderly man who lived in a quiet little village nestled deep in the mountains of China. He had one son, whom he loved dearly. However, this son lived far away, studying in a city that was a great distance from the village. So the old man carried on by himself, working day in and day out. He spent long hours tending to his land, as there was always something that needed to be done. He was a gentle and warm-hearted soul, and everyone in the village held him in high regard. They all understood how much he could use the help of his son, a strong, hard-working young man who wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Still, the old farmer never uttered a single complaint. The villagers would often stop by his home to express how sorry they felt that he had to manage everything on his own. "When will your son return?" they'd ask. "It's unfortunate that you're all alone out here, so far from your only child." But no matter how many times they brought it up, the old man always gave them the same calm response. "Is it bad luck or good luck? Who can really say?" That was always the old man's way of looking at things. Then one day, something wonderful happened. His son returned to the village. The entire community was thrilled for the old farmer, and soon many of them gathered at his home to share in the joy. "Now that your son is finally back, your house will surely be filled with good fortune again," they said with warm smiles. But the old man simply smiled in return and replied, "Good luck or bad luck, who knows?" Everyone in the village knew the farmer wasn't one for long conversations. He chose his words carefully and rarely explained himself, so they didn't press him for answers. Life in the village was tough, and most people struggled just to get by. Compared to many others, though, the old man and his son were slightly better off. They owned a horse, something quite valuable on a farm, where a single horse could do the work of several men. But one morning, something went wrong. The farmer's son accidentally left the stable door open, and just like that, their horse took off and disappeared. The son was overwhelmed with guilt. "What have I done?" he said, distressed. "Without the horse, farming is going to be so much harder. How are we going to manage now?" Once again, the villagers came by, full of sympathy. "This is such terrible luck," they said, shaking their heads. But as always, the old farmer just smiled quietly, calm as ever. The old farmer didn't seem the least bit troubled about the missing horse. "Bad luck or good luck, who can say for sure?" he said with his usual calm. Later that same afternoon, some villagers thought they caught a glimpse of the old man's horse running across the distant hills near his land. That evening, the son decided to go out and search. After a few hours of walking through the hills, he finally spotted their horse grazing peacefully beside a wild one. Amazingly, he managed to lead both horses back to the farm. When the villagers heard what had happened, they were overjoyed. "At first you had one horse, then none at all. Now look, you have two," they cheered. "Your good luck has returned." But just as before, the old farmer gave a quiet smile and replied, "Good luck or bad luck, who knows?" The son, thrilled about the new horse, grew fond of it right away. He made up his mind to tame it. His father, watching him closely, gave a gentle warning. "Be careful, my son. You've been living in the city for a long time, and taming wild horses isn't something you've done before." "Don't worry, father," the son replied confidently. "I know what I'm doing," the son replied confidently. "Once I've trained this horse, we'll have two to help with the farm work. That'll make life so much easier for us." But the very next day, things took a turn. While trying to tame the wild horse, the son was thrown off its back. He hit the ground hard and broke his leg. This was no small setback. A man with a broken leg still needs food, but he can't work the land. Once again, the villagers gathered at the farmer's home, full of sympathy. First, your son was away in the city and you had no one to help. Then he came back and you finally had help again. And now he's injured, and you're the one who has to take care of him, they said. It seems your bad luck has returned. But just as always, the old man offered his familiar, gentle smile and replied, "Bad luck or good luck, who's to say?" Some of the villagers looked at each other, puzzled. How could breaking a leg possibly be good luck? They wondered. At that time in China, a brutal war was tearing the country apart, with fierce fighting between the eastern and western regions. Every week, countless young men were being lost to the violence. Then, one day, a group of soldiers arrived in the village. They were rounding up young men to join the army and head off to war. Every able-bodied young man was forced to leave their families behind to become soldiers. There were tears in every home as sons said goodbye, unsure if they'd ever return. But because the old farmer's son had broken his leg, he wasn't taken away. The soldiers left him behind, considering him unfit for battle. The villagers were stunned. Every family had lost someone to the war, sons, brothers, husbands. But the old farmer's son was still home, sitting beside his father. And suddenly, the meaning of the old man's words became clear. Maybe the horse running away wasn't such bad luck. Maybe breaking a leg wasn't the worst thing after all. The villagers began to understand what the farmer had always meant. In life, it's hard to say what's truly good or bad in the moment. What seems like a misfortune might save you later, and what looks like a blessing might carry its own challenges. So the next time something unexpected happens in your life, something that feels unfair or difficult, remember the wise old farmer. Bad luck or good luck, who really knows? And that, my friends, is the story of the wise old farmer, a reminder that life is full of surprises, and sometimes what looks like bad luck might just be a hidden blessing. If this story touched your heart or helped you learn something new in English, don't forget to give it a like and share it with someone who needs a little wisdom today. And of course, subscribe to English Chapter so you never miss another powerful story that helps you grow your English and your perspective. See you in the next video.